I don't know. Anyways, here we go. An umpire and a vampire square off week after week, reviewing movies outside their own strike zone. This week's movie is the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street and the 1993 football movie Rudy, starring Robert Englund, Sean Austin, Lily Taylor, Amanda Weiss, Heather Langkop, Jay Depp, and John Favreau. Now two guys who from experience know that if you try to count to infinity and don't stop, you won't finish. Tim Kretschmann and Jeff Miller.
What the heck was that? What happened there? Oh my God!
What?
Really? You are just on fire today.
Think about that. If you count to infinity and don't stop, you won't get there. Because you won't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's pretty freaking clever. You know damn well that is.
He's Jeff Miller. We call him the Ump. Jeff took a puck to the beans once. He skated away and quietly said pussy as he left a blood spot on the ice.
What? Where do you come after me like that all the time?
I get these from listeners. Listeners send them in.
That is shocking.
That is...
You came at me very hard on that one. Susie wrote that one?
Sure, okay.
Wow.
Maybe.
That was harsh. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's like an 11 or 12.
That was not harsh. Get over yourself. Oh my God.
Oh my God, Tim. I'm beside myself on this one.
Okay, well, for those of you that haven't watched the show before, when Jeff isn't being pornographic.
What?
Our chat room is very busy, by the way. We got Schwobet and Trogdor in there. And, of course, you, Jeff. But what we do on the show, he's the ump.
Yes.
He loves sports stuff.
Hell yeah.
I'm the vamp. I love horror stuff. So, of course, I give him horror movies, and he gives me sports movies, and we review them here on what we like to call
Dead on the Bases. And we keep score.
So, we do keep score. There's trivia. There's all sorts of nonsense to keep Jeff entertained.
Sometimes we play hide and seek.
We do not play hide and seek.
Sometimes I leave here, and then you like, where did Jeff go?
No, I always am like, oh, thank
There's
God.
a different personality that pops in. Where's Jeff? I don't know. He's hiding. Who's this personality?
Sometimes
Anyways,
things happen here on the show.
Things do happen when they're not supposed to.
Hey, we're going to be talking about a great movie and then Jeff's movie. We have The Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a classic that Jeff got to watch this week. Such a lucky young man. And I had to watch Rudy against my wishes. So that's today's show. We're going to get things going because Jeff has promised me he's got a lot to say about this one. So we're going to start with you, Jeff. Go ahead.
Nightmare on Elm Street is a 1984 R-rated movie that's an hour and 31 minutes long. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, here's how this is going to go because I'm going to make this very easy on everybody. I'm not going to bury the lead. I enjoyed this movie.
Okay, good.
Now let's get into it. Oh, did you just put my email up there? Because
yes, I did.
Did you put the main one or the second one?
I put the main one.
Okay.
Because what I've done, because you were getting those overflow errors, I have it sending the extras into the main one now. So it's all going to be combined into a super-sized mail.
Well, that's why I was getting alerts. I get a lot of alerts on there.
Yeah, but
that's
mostly that's spam. You know that. That's coming from China. And
I don't think so.
Well,
they have one of our fighter pilots now, or fighter planes, F-35s in China now. But anyways, so back to the show. All right, so
back to the show, everybody.
So this movie, this is another. Last week I said it was a good starter movie for zombie flicks. This is a good starter movie for someone that's getting into horror movies or hasn't seen a horror movie yet. I would say that anybody who wants to see a horror movie to get started with it, this is a good starting point.
Really? You think so?
I do. I think this was even though we're going to get to the point where I'm very confused.
That's nothing new.
Very confused. I felt this was just the right amount of horror in there. The right amount of, there was some like one-liners. It was a good story too. It was a good story to the fact where, so I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm just going to say, so what happens is these kids fall asleep. Freddy's in their dreams, and if he kills you in your dream or if he catches you in your dream, you're dead. So that's the most part, and that's not giving anything away. You're gonna find that out right away.
Yeah, that's the story.
But the cool thing is that I did some research on this, and I never do research. No,
Yes, you
I
do.
always do research.
He does so much frickin' research.
Wes
He
Craven
ruins these movies for himself.
Wes Craven, it's so cool when you read stuff about it and you find out more about it. He incorporates so much of his own life into these movies. Freddy Krueger, he was a kid that Wes Craven grew up with, and then part of it was a guy that looked
Was
at
he
him.
horribly burned?
No, but there was a guy
Did
that
he have a metal hand?
No, but it was a kid that didn't get any Valentines on Valentine's Day, and he wore a sweater and
There's
he looked
something about the name Krieger.
and then I know there's probably a joke there, but I don't know.
There is.
But the thing of it is that it's amazing when you watch this movie and you
The hell?
and you get through the movie. Is there something going on here?
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
rain tomorrow.
Okay, your joints are hurting.
It's saying it right over there.
Did it say it or did you read it?
I read it.
Okay. Anyways, so
It's going to rain tomorrow.
Now he said it.
so here's the thing. So with
No, this wasn't the thing. This is
this-
Freddy Krueger. Keep your mind straight.
I know
this
I'm
time.
very so. Anyways, this got a great cast. It's got Heather Langenkamp, who did you know Tim was in ZZ Top's video Sleeping Bag.
Really?
Yes, that's pretty. I think that's pretty.
Did
pretty
you know she was in Just the 10 of Us?
No, I did not.
That was one of my favorite sitcoms back in the 80s.
Was
She
she?
played like the book smart. It was a coach. Yeah, you would like it. He had a sports coach.
Yeah.
I think it was like a high school coach. And he had 10 kids. And she was like the smart, brainy girl.
Wow.
And there were four of the girls were.
Okay, but
So that was good.
we're talking about
That
Nightmare
was
on
a
Elm Street.
good show.
We're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
I know if you ever get going. I can't
So-
talk about Just the 10 of Us all that long.
I think you
There,
could.
there was another celebrity in the movie.
Yes, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Amanda Weiss is in this, and I'm watching her. She's the main
Wiss. Yeah.
She was in there, and I'm like, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? She was in Better Off Dead,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's where I
That's
remember her
probably her biggest other credit.
from. And that's what I remember her from. And I'm like, where did I see her? Where did I see her? So she made it pleasant to watch.
She's Tina, right?
Yeah. She's the one that ends up. I'm not giving anything away. She's the one who ends up getting killed right off the bat. She's one of the first ones, and that's fine. I mean, she kind of lays the groundwork of what's
It's
going
a horror movie. A lot of people die.
Right. She kind of lays the groundwork for what's going to happen throughout the movie. But Heather Langenkamp, the one who plays Nancy, she's kind of got a feel for this. She's like, I got to stay up. I can't let this guy get to me. Her boyfriend is Johnny Depp, which, by the way, is his very first acting role.
Okay.
And did you know that?
Yeah, I'm just saying okay because I know I can't use it for a trivia question later.
See, and the thing of it is, here's the thing. So when I watch these movies and I do some research, I'm like, I get deep in here and I'm like, what things should I say so I sound smart? Or what things should I hold back so I get the trivia question right? So sometimes I'm just like, screw it. I want to sound smart.
But yeah, and you're not. So
Whatever. So anyways, there's Johnny D right there. There's Johnny D.
he was so young. I rewatching it this week. I'm like, oh yeah, that was like his 21 Jump Street young guy. When he was on Tiger Beat every.
If you
3
do
days.
the math, he's 11 years old when he started in this movie.
No, he is not.
11.
No,
And she was 22.
no, she isn't.
No.
Not 11.
No, but anyways.
There is a website. We found a website that tells us how old people are when they make movies. We found a website. And
Who's we?
my brother and I.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, Trogdorsk.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's always surprising because some people seem a lot older and others are a lot younger than you think.
I would like to check out that website because when I watch them, like when I watch her, I'm like, I wonder how old she was. And when you find out they're like in their 20s and they're playing a teenager, you're like, holy cow, or whatever, vice versa.
Right.
So it is amazing when that happens. So anyways, her boyfriend is Johnny Depp, or well, his name is Glenn in the movie. And he's got to try to protect her, but
Nobody has ever remembered that his name is Glenn. The only reason he knew that, everybody, is it's on the screen in front of him. Everybody just says Johnny Depp.
Well, those people are morons. Got to call him by his stage name. Glenn. Hey, Glenn Lantz. And by the way, his last name is Lantz in the movie. Lantz. Anyways.
Spelled the same way as Walter Lantz, who created Woody Woodpecker.
Yep. I knew that. Because every time they'd be in the cartoon, Woody Woodpecker yep. So, back to the movie, Tim.
Okay.
So anyway, so she needs him to keep her awake. And I thought it was a unique dynamic because her mom's an alcoholic. Her dad's a cop.
You can't prove that.
Well, okay, she drank a lot. Okay,
she had bottles everywhere.
She's hiding them. You know, in that one scene in the kitchen where she hides the bottle, I'm like, what is she hiding? And all of a sudden, the bottle got thrown on the ground. Yep. It was alcohol.
She was drinking plenty.
I wonder what she was drinking because it wasn't like a Jack Daniels bottle or that. It was like a frosted bottle. So I don't know.
I thought she was doing bottles of wine in succession.
That's that could be. It could be wine. But her dad was a cop, and he was kind of a jerk. And it's just like...
Played by...
John Saxton, Lieutenant Thompson.
Yeah, well, John Saxton, for
he reminds
people
me of
that
somebody.
know, well, he's one of those faces that you see all the time. Usually plays some sort of authoritarian character that is a jackass.
And he did it well.
And he did a lot of exploitation and action movies, low-budget action films, which is how he got into this one.
Well,
did a lot for George Corman.
Okay.
Or Roger Corman.
Come on, get it right. Get their names right, okay?
Okay.
So anyways, so let's get back to...
I apologize.
Good. So let's get back to Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger.
England.
You can say England. You can say Englund. He doesn't really care.
He actually does.
No, because I heard No,
he does.
Well, if I ever meet him, I'll call him Robert Englund.
Okay. And he'll slash you.
Anyways, so Robert Englund. So why is there a U in there then?
He was pretty young when they picked that.
Okay. Well, anyways, Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, yeah. I thought the thing that I was surprised at is that you really don't see a lot of him in this movie.
No.
It's more of to the imagination.
Right.
To the extent that there's a scene where his arms extend out, which is pretty cool because actually what it is two guys with fishing poles, and he's running through. So Tim's already worried about trivia, I can tell you. But they have him extend out. So the cool thing is that when his scenes were there, they made it feel like you feel in a dream. They
feel a little off.
Yep. There's a scene where she's running upstairs where she's stuck. She can't get up. And there's times in dreams that you're running, you can't get away. I thought the way they did the dream stuff was really kind of cool. And there was some parts in there where...
As the series goes on, they really amp that up.
Do they?
Yeah. One of the complaints a lot of people have, I was just talking to the coach about this earlier today, Coach Exler.
Oh, yes.
And we were talking about it, and the thing he doesn't like is that Freddy started becoming a comic book character. He started making little jokes and all this sort of stuff as he's slashing his way through the movie. But what I think they did better as the series went on is they really made it feel like you were in a dream. You could tell that now we're in a dream. Now, in this movie, they used it to good effect that sometimes you were in the dream and you didn't even know you were in the dream yet.
Right.
But
right. Yep.
In later installments, you pretty well know when you're getting into dream, but things are really like, hey, the physics are different, and a lot of weird stuff going on because you're in a dream.
Well,
weird stuff happens.
That scene where the Weiss girl, Weiss, how do you say her name? Weiss. Yeah. Amanda Weiss. Yeah. When she's flipping around on top of the ceiling, that was
so cool.
No, that was not. That was not. So there are a lot of disturbing scenes in here that really gave me a hard time. I'm still having a little bit of hard time sleeping right now. I'll be honest with you. There's some images that are still like her in the body bag. You don't need that.
Sure.
You don't need to have that, and that scene's not in there. So you must have had that mixed up with another one.
I don't know what that.
But
that was one of the other installments.
There's some gruesome scenes in it. Like I don't want to give them all away, but
well, please don't.
I won't. But okay, the body bag is gruesome as hell. I mean, They didn't need to put that in there. She's dead already.
did.
But then that's where I got confused if she was dreaming or not. So, and I want to ask about this, but I don't want to give anything away. But
he's going to go ahead and
no, I don't want to do
away.
it. I
Here
kind of
it
don't
comes.
because I know there's people out there like me that haven't seen these kind of movies, and I want you to see Nightmare on Elm Street. I do. I want people. Now, if it came down to this and watching Halloween, watch this. If it came down to this or Friday the 13th, for me, I would say watch this.
I would agree. This of the slasher films is probably the most accessible. I wouldn't give this to somebody that was starting out in horror instead of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You'd give them that first?
Sure, why not?
Why? What? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Oh. No, there's another movie that I want to give you, really.
Okay, well, anyways, so there's the scene with and then it was cool because...
It is coming, by the way.
Oh, great.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So anyways, so like I said, I mean...
No, this is a more accessible
This
film.
is very more accessible.
Yeah.
And it's
great effects.
Great effects. The story, like I said, the story is decent. You can tell that it's kind of choppy. And honestly, Tim...
Well, it's lower budget, you know.
Tim, if this was made now... Does it seem like those actors and actresses were like a little bit, they didn't get it, or they seemed like real choppy when they were acting, didn't they? To me, like they seem like the lines were,
actually,
you know what I'm saying or no?
If you watch a lot of slasher movies, you would probably say some of the best teenage acting you've seen is in this movie.
Oh, it is. Okay.
After you watch, you know, like Friday the 13th is a good one to bring up. Because Kevin Bacon was in the first Friday the 13th movie.
Okay.
You watch that. That is not his proudest time as an actor.
But
much as this was probably not Johnny Depp's favorite film in his filmography. Certainly not from a money standpoint. I think this is probably the least he ever made was this one. But it's serviceable.
It is.
And... you know right away, you know, the guy that's kind of a dumb jock, you're like, okay, he's going to be a dumb jock, and this is going to be this guy. And they're archetypes. It's really Nancy, Heather Langenkamp's character, that you need to connect with.
Right.
And she does a good job.
But
she does an excellent job.
But the mom, Marge Thompson, I thought she seemed like she wasn't even there when she was acting. She seemed way off, man.
It seemed a lot like season 1 of Dead on the Bases.
Probably. That's probably true, but we got on track at the end. We got on track in the end. But she just seemed like over the top in her actions, and when she slapped her in the face, it just seemed like over the top. It didn't seem right. And what about this scene right here, Tim? That whole thing where what was that all about?
I know a cosplayer that plays as Nancy. I mean, she is spitting image, Deanna Lazar, and she walks around with one of those phones, and it just cracks me up. I think it's a moment that you don't see coming, and then you go, "What the hell is that?"
Where the tongue's coming out of the phone, and did you know that Heather Langenkamp, she kept that?
Why wouldn't she?
She kept it. That's hers. She kept that.
She's kind of a fan of this movie.
You could tell that itself. She could tell she was into this.
Honestly, I've often wondered, because she isn't in the second film. Then she made the third film. Then she took some time off. I think she comes back at 9 or something. I wonder if they just didn't ask her to be in a lot of the installments, or if they were afraid she was going to, start asking for too much money. I don't know, because most of these movies were not made for a ton of cash.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Now, you know me, we've been doing this enough seasons.
Yes.
Would it be worth on my own to watch 2 and 3?
Not 2, 3 definitely.
Why not?
Love
Is
3.
2 just crap?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 I
mean, there are probably people yelling right now that are horror fans. No, 2 sucks. It's pretty well known. 3, in a lot of people's minds, 3 is the best of the films. I don't think so. I think the first one's the best of the films. But I do think three. If you talk to people, there's no question it's between 1 and 3. Which one's the best film?
Okay, and then what about, and how do you feel about the remake?
The remake is a lot like this film. It's darker, and it's scary. Whereas some of them, like if you start watching Freddy 4, 5, 6, they're not as scary anymore. It's more like watching Dreamscape than it is watching a horror film. So the remake brought it back to that. A lot of people don't like it because it's the only time that Robert Englund did not play Freddy. I kind of like it. I think it's good. I'm also one of the people that likes Freddy versus Jason. I think Freddy versus Jason is an excellent flick.
I have a question
and
about
that's
that.
coming. It's coming soon. I first got to get you a good Jason movie, and then we'll get you there.
Let me ask you this. So we know that Halloween was remade by Rob Zombie, right? And he made the Halloween the same as the very first version. We interviewed Christina Klebe.
He made it horrible, and it was terrible.
But isn't like the same type of characters are in the two girlfriends and all that?
The characters, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street
that's
follows a lot of the same story.
Okay, so it's about the same story, but with new actors and maybe a little bit.
It has a darker tone
that's
in
what
some
I'm looking
ways. Different acting to it. I think you would prefer Dream Warriors, which is Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Okay.
And you know that that's a favorite because everybody knows Dream Warriors. The rest of them are like Freddy's Dead, which Nightmare on Elm Street is that. Nobody knows what number. Everybody knows 3 is Dream Warriors because that's the good one. That's the one that really sold VHS cassettes back in the day.
Can I ask you something about Freddy versus Jason? Yes, I can.
You cannot ask any questions.
So Freddy versus Jason, is that a Freddy film or is that a Jason film?
What I like about that movie is the answer is yes.
Okay. But what?
Because they really did a good job of kind of making it both. And they did an excellent job with that.
Did both studios put it on, or did it come out of one or the other studio?
I'm not even going to go down that path. The legal wrangling that went on to get that movie made, and a lot of people have wanted another. Jason in particular, they've been wanting. They're sitting at Friday the 13th has 12 movies.
Okay.
In the. They can't seem to get a 13th movie made. It sells itself, everybody. It sells itself. The 13th of the movies. Because they had 11 of the first bunch, and then they did a remake. So 13 would be the next one. And he just can't seem to pull the trigger and get it done.
So this was a Freddy.
There's a lot of rights issues and that sort of thing that are going on.
So this is a Jason installment then. Freddy visited. So it's a Jason show that Freddy was in.
You cannot say that. It really does both.
Okay.
It does both up. And I thought what I really like about that movie is it brings out an aspect of both characters that I don't think was very well developed prior to that story. And I'll tell you what it is because it's kind of well known. Freddy is a burn victim, right? He was burned to death. Jason, and you may not know this, but it's in the first movie and it's been spoiled a million times, drowns.
Oh.
Okay. So in the movie, they really emphasize that Freddy doesn't like fire and Jason doesn't like water. And I never saw that explored in any of the other films. They kind of go back to it once in a while, but they didn't really say, hey, this is the thing they do not want anything to do with.
Okay.
So that, I really like that about Freddy versus Jason. It also has Jason Ritter in there, and he's hilarious in there. I love it. John Ritter's son.
Well,
and He's been making a lot of television. That's one of the few movies that he's been in. And I think he steals every scene he's in.
Well, Freddy gets burned in this one. She lights him on fire in the basement.
Freddy gets burned a lot.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Let me put it this way. He should walk around with a smoke alarm.
All
Why
right.
don't you give me a score, big buddy?
Yeah, you probably have a good idea what this is going to be. I really like this movie. I think this is a really good starter movie again.
Okay.
But I'm on the fence.
Looking to it up there.
What's that?
Nothing.
I'm giving it an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
That's a solid score.
Yeah, it's a solid score.
That's a solid score. I thought it was going to be a little too frightening for you. So
No.
I'm glad.
Well, I'm having problems, but it was a good it was a good story. It wasn't.
How did Tango like it?
He was fine. He just laid there the whole time. It's not like the Collector. Collector, man, that was scary and disturbing, and The Conjuring. This was scary, but it wasn't. It was a good story. I thought it was good. I thought it was put together well.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You know what time it is? Time
Yes.
for sports. Tell us something, buddy.
All right. Hi, I'm Jeff Miller.
And you're not.
I'm the.
And he just came back from golfing, everybody.
I did. I was out at Alpine
So
Valley.
yeah, I put a little caddy
Yeah.
shot for you.
I was out golfing at Alpine Valley, a course that I've visited now quite a bit. I love that course. Kind of chewed me up and spit me out today. I did well. I started out well. I had some trouble in the middle, and I finished well. But it wasn't. It's nothing to really write home about. So back to like real sports now. The Brewers continue to keep on winning, keep on fooling us to think that they might have a chance at the World Series. I hope they do. Don't get me wrong, folks. I hope they do. They beat the Cardinals today 6-0, but everybody beats the Cardinals nowadays. The Brewers' magic number is now at 3. They have 3 games against the Marlins, 3 games against the Cardinals at home, and then 4 games against the Cubs at home, and that should be it. Now, when the Brewers make it to the playoffs, because they're not the 2 top division winners, they'll have all 3 games at home for the first series, which is really cool. My buddy Craig Counsell won game number 702 of his illustrious 9-year career with the Brewers. The Packers lost this past weekend. The Packers will bounce back this weekend against the Saints and beat them at home. Is that who they play, the Saints? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, that's the sports. That's all. Oh! And Muskego, the Muskego Warriors will get a win this week because Waukesha South cannot field a team, so that game's forfeited. Go Warriors. And I'm Jeff Miller, and that's the sports that I know.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Tim.
And now it's time for us to take a quick look. I thought we were going somewhere. Where am I going? Oh, that's right. I got to hit this button. 'Cause here we go.
I love first pageants.
Yes.
We will return you to the regularly scheduled program in just a moment.
But first,
Let's make some merch money. I'm thinking about getting coasters, and I'm thinking about getting tumblers, like Yetis. I don't know, man. I think we got a market going. I don't know. Open it up, Muskego style.
Yes. You know there's 2 of those left?
No, there isn't.
Yes,
Nobody
there-
even knows who Arthur Treacher is.
There are 2 left.
Not true.
Tim, I promise you there is. It was on TikTok.
Tim! You know what's coming?
What? Oh, Horror Realm.
There we go.
I can't wait. I am looking forward to Horror Realm. I am.
Yeah, and they're looking forward to seeing you and frightening you half to death. Horror Realm is coming March 1st through the 3rd
There she
in
is.
beautiful Pittsburgh. And we're showing just a collection of the baseball cards that I bought for this year's Horror Realm.
We should sell those.
And I think I would probably get in jail. But a lot of great guests coming this year. I'm really excited to see William Forsythe.
It's like to see her.
Crampton.
Not
Bill
him. He's
Mosley.
flipping me off.
Hey, he probably should. Charles Band, I'm looking forward to. Yeah, there's a lot of them that
Danielle
I'm looking
Harris.
forward to coming this year. And Dee Wallace from E.T. You recognize
mom?
it? That's the mom from E.T., but she was also in your favorite horror film that you haven't seen yet.
What was that?
Cujo. So
Cujo. It's a dog film.
Yeah. Oh, that's coming. That's coming.
There's my
Remember
girl.
somebody at the beginning of the season saying that last season Tim was too easy on you?
It was.
I am putting together a killer season coming up next year that will hurt you so much. There will be so much pain. You'll probably bleed from your eyes.
Why do you want to do that?
Why? I don't know. Somebody keeps coming in here and saying, "Oh, you were too easy on me." Okay.
Well, did you see
challenge accepted?
Did you see what season? What inning 9 is? The Gremlins. Another Christmas movie.
That's a great Christmas movie, is what it is.
That Die Hard.
Hey, everybody! It's time for
Poke
me
the
to
bear. Just poke him.
Oh, why is that still
Come on, because we want to see Christina Klebe one more time. There she is.
Still up.
There's my girl, Christina Klebe.
What?
She likes her Starbucks.
What?
She likes Starbucks.
Starbars.
It's called something. What do they call it? The kids call it something funny. I don't know. Anyways.
Did I finally get them to go down? There we go. Jeez.
What she said.
My problem is getting it. Anyway.
All right, Tim.
We're going to be talking about a movie that was made. That's probably the last nice thing I'll say about it.
Tim.
Rudy from 1993. This is the story of Rudy Giuliani.
Nope.
Going to Notre Dame and learning how to sit on a bench.
Rudy Rudiger.
Okay, Rudiger. He goes to Notre Dame. He learns how to sit on a bench. And as long as he stayed on the bench, things went well. That's true.
Tim.
Sean Astin is best known for being in this film. And he's best known for digging up a caveman in his backyard, which is very important to this show.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Encino Man.
Because it's a first level connection to Pauly Shore.
Yes.
Pauly Shore is in that film, and as you know, I take the challenge of connecting things to Pauly Shore very seriously.
Just to screw with me.
So this is a first ring of connection to Pauly Shore.
You could have used that in trivia, you know. Oh, no, that's not your movie to trivia.
Right.
Oh, I might use it, though. Hold on.
Now, the other thing that Sean Astin is best known for is leading expeditions to find pirate treasure. His stepfather, I don't know if you know this, was Gomez Addams in the Addams Family.
Okay.
And his mother is Patty Duke.
In real life?
Yeah, in real life. In fact,
so his dad in real life is Gomez?
Well, his stepfather. There's a lot of question as to who actually is his father. But John Astin, the gentleman that played Gomez Addams in the TV show, adopted him, and whenever you talk to Sean Astin, he considers John Astin his father.
Oh, that's really nice.
So, and I guess he's a really good dad.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he will talk about it endlessly about that.
That's nice.
Now, this is the story of having unqualified people allowed to do a job so that instead of getting a superior product, it becomes barely mediocre. So I can understand why Jeff thought this was a great film. Ned Beatty is in the film as well. He is not Otis from Superman, which is sad because I love that theme song. But Ned Beatty is well known in this movie for using the same remote control my father had, which is, hey, change the channel. Hey, change the channel.
Tim,
to the nearest kid.
Tim, we had a TV with the chair was literally 3 feet from the TV, and that's where I sat.
Yeah.
And that's where I had to turn the channels.
We had our first VCR actually had a wired remote.
Really?
A wired
We did
remote.
not have one of those.
It just had a pause and play and a little
Really?
search button, and we thought we were living in the 21st century.
We didn't get a VCR until 86.
Wow. Okay, so this kid is so demented he listens to old recordings of a coach's speech on a record. So I think he's either demented or simple. Okay. Now Notre Dame is expensive, and they went out of their way to show how lower middle class their family was.
True.
and he was also not good at his schoolwork. So how is he going to get to Notre Dame? Well, and people went out of their way to tell Rudy he couldn't do this. Everyone told him he was too dumb, he was too small. Not everyone is meant to go on to college. This seems to... Honestly, this is probably a better approach to schooling than bankrupting the entire nation just because of some kids' worthless dreams. This movie glorifies bad decision-making to a degree that I find irresponsible. Now, Crybaby Aston cries at a church about an accident at the mill. Now, why does he think that his friend dying is why he needs to go to South Bend and Notre Dame? I don't get.
Well, because his friend always told him, you got to go after your dreams. You have to go after your dreams.
And his friend was so intelligent, he got himself killed.
He didn't meet.
So you should probably follow everything his friend does.
There was a factory malfunction.
He literally walks into a fire.
But there's a malfunction.
Does the opposite of what Freddy Krueger would do, which is run the other direction.
True.
So,
but he was trying to save people.
You know what? I've been to South Bend. We've driven through it on the way to horror realm.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
No.
So, anyway, Ned Beatty, and at no time in the film does he talk about his boss or his real estate dealings around the San Andreas Fault or being a bitch for hillbillies. He's just kind of there. They could have used him a lot more. Now, I did mark this down. 24 minutes into the movie, I openly declared how bad and hokey the movie was. So it only took me 24 minutes to just literally shout that out.
What did that? What
I think this was about the time that Sean Astin goes to South Bend. And I think he was looking to find a ring and toss it to a dragon or something. And
you're just weaving everything.
I'm working at it. He runs into a priest. And he says to the priest, I would do anything to get to Notre Dame. This guy goes up to, he's a young boy, goes to a priest and says, I would do anything. Read between the lines, fellas. This is not the only case. Throughout the movie, Sean Astin's character, now Sean Astin is acting his ass off. He's doing such a good job trying to make this character even slightly likable. But at every turn, this Rudy is manipulating somebody. He's somehow getting somebody to do his homework for him.
That's true.
He's getting onto the grounds of the field to do work there.
He's squatting in the...
he's squat.
He's a squatter.
It is incredible how this guy just... He's taking every advantage of everybody. Now, this is not to say Notre Dame is blameless. For instance, they run their football team on slave labor. They take students. Hey, be our slave.
How dumb was he that he had the girl liking him? He was painting the helmets. Then he goes to the bar and he's drinking. He's so dumb he tells her that he doesn't go to Notre Dame. So then she kicks him off.
There's nothing likable about this kid.
He was dumb.
He is ripping people off. Honest to God, this guy and the gal that was selling those blood test machines, not too far apart in my head. So, we'll talk about it later. So, this is where we figure out this is not the story of a dreamer that's working toward his dream of football glory. This is the story of a disturbed and delusional stalker. Willing to break... Now, he's stalking a football team instead of a woman, but he's a stalker.
He is.
He's willing to break into the custodian's secret apartment. Yep. He fakes being a student. Yep. He's a serial female propositioner for Jon Favreau.
To get better grades.
Right. In a symbolic rite, he arsons a wax figure to attempt to get his way. He basically is praying to God, like some people use voodoo dolls to affect the performance of Craig Counsell. He lights his candle and he says, oh, maybe you should do that and you could pray to be a mirif. That might work. Anyway, so the crybaby crotch sniffer finally got in after offering his body to a priest, a groundskeeper, and a football coach. Now, you would think getting in the school would be enough. or actually getting to be on the team. But this ass gurgler, numb prick, thinks he would be on the main team. He shouldn't have been on the team as a towel boy. And he's like, well, I'm not on the main team yet. I'm going to quit. Blah, 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 blah. Give me a goddamn break. And then there's problems too, where notice he's wearing 45 here on the screen.
Yes.
He wears 45 and 46 back and forth in the scenes, which I would think you'd be just irate about. It's just sloppy filmmaking. But at least I will say this: by doing that, they finally put something interesting up on the screen, instead of showing yet another scene of Rudy kissing somebody's ass so he gets what the hell he wants. And then you have that typical character of the mystical Negro that has the only one that can talk sense to him and tell him, you gotta go in there and chase your dreams. Well, yeah, since you already manipulated half the state into doing what you want. This isn't an inspirational tale. It's a cautionary tale. He doesn't even really show appreciation. He thinks he's got this coming to him. He's constantly whining. The last time I saw this much whine, I was in frickin' California. He's trafficking in sex crimes. He's consistently begging everyone to get what he wants. At no point does he think about anyone but himself. You know, once in a while, oh, well, I'm doing this for my dad. No, your dad just wants to show off at the mill. This kid is a selfish narcissist that needs to have everything his way. He's not a hero. He's a sicko into torturing himself. He's how is he unlike any other Catholic? The moral is you might suck, but if you suck enough dick, you'll get what you want. That's Rudy in a nutshell.
Now, here's the thing. Before Tim gives it a grade.
No, I'm going to go to the horror movie connection.
All right, but can I say something first here?
No.
I'll be honest with you. This movie, I did not enjoy this movie.
You can't.
And honestly, I suggested this movie because I never saw it and I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And I heard the stories about how Joe Montana had mentioned, because he was on this team as a freshman, he said that the players didn't really go in and put their jerseys down. That was not it. Coach Dan Devine, he actually did like Rudy. There's a whole bunch of different things. I mean, it's just that I didn't like the way, like you said, the way that he manipulated people and the way he was. I did not like this movie. This is not one that I'll ever watch again.
Let me put it this way.
And I don't like Notre Dame.
Sean
that's why.
Astin is an incredible actor.
Is he?
He really does a good job.
Is he?
Because this character is so completely unlikable, you at least come halfway. The only time I liked him, I would want to kill him in real life.
and I think a lot of the people did too, that he ran into, the actual Rudy guy. The only part I liked was the very end. I mean, that was the best part of the whole movie, but you got to wait for the whole thing.
I thought it was all horrible.
But I want to just say one thing about that. I just want to make sure it's not one of my trivia questions right here. Okay, so in the final scene, we're not ruining anything for anybody. In the final scene,
go ahead and ruin it. Nobody should see this.
They want to put all the seniors in at the very last game. You know, he gets a chance to get in there. There's only like 37 seconds left, whatever. All the timing, all the scoring, that's all right. I'm not going to complain about that. But the thing of it is that he's actually, in real life, he was in for 3 plays. They show him in here for only 2 plays. So he was in on the kickoff, and then the very next play, he gets his sack, which I think is awesome. I mean, you're in there for 3 plays, and you get a sack on one of your plays. But the play in between the sack and the kickoff, the quarterback throws an incomplete pass.
I don't think he sacked.
He sacked him. He sacked the quarterback in the very last play. You must have fell asleep by then. You might have.
No, I thought that happens in the movie. I didn't think that happened in real life.
It did. That happened in real life. That's why it's such a cool movie. And they had to they had to build up to this somehow. But that's so cool. If you think about what he accomplished and his size, it's something.
It was pretty clear that the team they were up against were a bunch of ragdolls by that
Georgia
time.
Tech, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's time for the horror movie connection. Let's start with Sean Astin. As you know, I am now taking their entire
I love this. I love this part of the show.
And I'm giving a statistic. 7.5% of all Sean Astin movies are horror movies.
How many movies was he in?
He's been in 186, so that's 14 of them. It includes, he did a season on Stranger Things, which he was awesome in.
I saw that.
He was in the movie Dead Ant, but most importantly, he was in one of my favorite horror TV series called The Strain, about vampires, and he's really good in that and sets the tone for the entire series. Now, Jon Favreau,
yes.
no horror for him. No horror. So sad. And he's been in 74 movies as an actor, not just the directing, like Iron Man and all that stuff. Now, Ned Beatty, he's been in 5 horror films, making his percentage 3%, and one of the 5 was The Exorcist 2.
Is Deliverance considered a horror movie?
I call it a thriller.
Okay.
So, it didn't count into 5, but I think a lot of people would have put it in there.
Okay.
Next we have Charles Dutton, who plays the mystical Negro in the film. He actually has quite a few. One of them I knew right off the bat was he was one of the stars of Alien 3. He's done a lot of TV episodic stuff. He was in American Horror Story. So he's had a good amount. He's at 9.1%. 10 out of his 110 films were horror films.
Wow.
Now the next one I knew right off the bat had quite a few as well. Lily Taylor, who plays his Rudy's younger self,
yes.
girlfriend. She was in The Haunting, which I remember seeing. Not a great movie. Not great. But it was very memorable because she was good in it. The
Conjuring.
She was also in The Conjuring, so that makes her a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's a tough movie, man.
She's also been in The Nun, which is also in that Conjuring universe.
Is it really?
She was in Leatherface. And she was in the Monsters TV show, which I actually like quite a bit. I might even like that more than Tales of the Dark Side. I just really do. So she was in that TV show. Now, next, this is the priest that Rudy offers his body to. Robert Prosky. He's a very famous character actor. He has 80 credits to his name, 4 of which are horror films. He was in The Keep and Christine. And the one that I like to highlight is he plays the horror movie host, Vlad or something, in Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which I think is a fantastic movie. I watch Gremlins 2 a lot.
Really?
Love that movie. And yes, Gremlins is probably the on paper better film, but I enjoy Gremlins 2 more. I just love it.
Is Phoebe Cates in that one too?
She is.
Oh.
She is in both. Gremlins 2 is funnier.
It is?
It's hilarious.
So how is that a horror movie then?
It really, that's why you're not going to get it on this show. It really isn't a horror movie at this point. Then we have Vince Vaughn.
Where was he?
In there. He plays. He's one of the football players.
Is he really?
He gives up his jersey during that.
That's
scene,
him.
And well, he's one of them. There's a lot of.
Yeah, I know, but I would have recognized him. I did not recognize him.
He, of course, Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Hall of Famer, because he was on this show with Freaky.
Good movie.
He's also known for doing Psycho. He was Norman Bates. And he played in the movie The Cell. That's 3 out of 84 movies. That's a 3.6%. But our leader, the top of the top, in this week's show is this guy. Do you recognize him?
Nope.
That's Jason Miller. He played the first coach.
Yes.
In the show. Now, I would like to give you his movie. Would you like to get his movie next year?
Yeah, this feels like a setup to me. So I'm going to say no.
Because
it feels like a setup.
He is the title character in a horror film. Are you sure? I mean, it's attached to Notre Dame.
I don't like Notre Dame. So, no, I'm not going to.
Okay.
This sounds like when you're playing.
He plays a
Let's
lot of
make a deal.
Catholics.
This sounds like let's make a deal. You can have this in this box, but you want this one, and I know.
He plays a lot of Catholics. He is the title character in The Exorcist.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's
no,
the priest. That's the Exorcist.
Nope.
So he's really got very few credits. Only 26 films. 7 of them were horror films, which puts his percentage at 26.9.
Jeez.
That is one of the highest numbers.
That's
now
gonna
at
be
the
tough
end
to
of the
break.
season,
Yeah.
at the end of the season, we'll do a tally, but
That's tough.
early
That's
on.
gonna be tough.
That's pretty good. And remember, this is a non-horror film that we do this on, so pretty interesting.
Yeah, no Exorcist for me.
I
Nope.
thought that was good. You sure? That's
No,
all right. We're
no.
gonna fuck you up some other way.
Tim.
So this film, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I gave it 3 just out of my nicety. I think I was being very generous and giving it to 3. And entirely that 3 is based entirely on Sean Astin's performance. I think he did a great
Really?
job.
You thought he did that good, huh?
He does a good job playing a character and making you almost like this guy that is absolutely reprehensible.
Okay, well,
reprehensible.
Hey, Sean Astin, thanks for getting me 3 points, buddy.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know what time it is?
Yes.
Do you?
It's trivia time.
It's trivia time, which means I press this button and then...
We've gone flawless so far tonight.
No, I'm about to screw it up. Thanks a lot. Here we go. Maybe it'll go. There we go.
There we go.
It won't last. Who's going first this
I
time? Okay, let me tell you how this works.
Tell the rules.
He's going. First of all, I block
Yes,
the
block it.
screen. I don't see that.
Yep, me too.
And
Oh, wait, I would do that.
he's going to read 3 statements. I'm going to tell him which one is false, and then I'm going to read him 3 statements, and he'll tell me which is false. So why don't you go ahead?
Actually, I went first last time.
About Rudy.
I went first
Oh,
last time.
I'm going first?
Yeah, we should switch those off too.
Okay, let me see here. Now, don't look over at my
Well,
screen
I
like
can
you
read better.
usually do.
Well,
No, because I got notes in here.
well, write it down on a piece of paper like I do.
No.
Go old school.
I
I promise you, I will
I
not
got
look
enough going on over here, if you don't mind. Okay,
We're 7 seasons
the
in, you
first one. Don't start with me.
over. Let's go.
Don't start with
I'm
me.
purposely doing my best not to look over there.
Okay. Let's start. Let's start with composer Charles Bernstein. I didn't talk about it, but I really like the score to this.
I did too.
Composer Charles Bernstein
too.
never composed a horror movie score before this film. He was convinced to change from action films to horror by director Wes Craven. That's the first one. Second one, Heather Langenkamp is part owner of a special effects house. And the last one is going to be John Saxon had recurring roles on Falcon's Crest and Dynasty, along with his extensive horror, sci-fi, and action film credits.
Okay, so like that first one. That first one. What's the guy's name? What's his name? Weinstein?
Charles Bernstein. I think it
Bernstein.
is.
Yeah. So
Bernstein.
like, what were some of the action movies that he did?
I'm not giving you that.
Well,
This isn't now fish to see if I'm gonna give a tell.
okay. So could you just? I don't want you to read the.
See, he does this every time. He tries to get me to talk more so that he gets hints.
Don't read the third one, because that one I already know how I feel about that. Could you please read 1 and 2 again?
Okay, one was composer Charles Bernstein never composed a horror movie score before this film. He was convinced to change from action films to horror by director Wes Craven.
Okay, and number 2.
The second one was Heather Langenkamp is part owner in a special effects house.
So part owner.
Part owner.
Like what would be the degree of ownership? What did she just have her name on it,
Yeah,
or?
I'm not going into it.
All right, so the one guy, the Paxton guy, he looks
Paxton.
familiar to me, so that makes sense for those like Dynasty and Falcon's Crest because I feel like I maybe saw him when I was younger on TV.
Okay. So you're saying that one's true?
Yeah. And then the one, it seems to me like I would think that she would be part of this because they need to have some money like coming in other than like acting because once they get older, they don't want to, they might not be able to act anymore. So I think she's going to be part of that. So I'm going to say, I'm thinking that one's true. But now the thing with Bernstein, now that really has got me, that's really got me thinking. This was 1984. You would think that he would have done like horror movie before that, but was horror movies really around before 84? So, but
were horror movies
yeah, there were
even around before 84?
But you know what I'm
Do
saying.
you not remember the black and white ones we have every single season?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, I mean, were there like music scores then? And I mean, but it sounds like he might be somebody that Tim has talked about before.
Oh, that's
so
possible.
I'm going to say, so that first one you're saying, he never did horror until Wes Craven had him do this. That's what you're saying to me, correct?
Correct.
That one I'm going to say is the false one. Yes! 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 Yes!
He did the film Cujo,
Oof,
which you will get to see.
Yes. People.
He is excited about seeing Cujo.
Yes. Yes. I needed those 5 points because there's 5 points between his score and my score. I needed those 5 points.
All right.
Yes. Are you impressed that I talked my way through that?
You did. Heather Langenkamp, by the way, her husband and she own a horror movie effects house.
Were you impressed?
So to what degree? A lot, a big degree.
And did you like how I just kept my eyes over here? I didn't even look at you.
Yeah, it was impressive. First time for everything.
Well, you have it up there. I mean, I should be able to look at it if I want.
No. You realize he gave 8s to both of the horror
I thought
films
they were
so
both
far?
solid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I'm impressed.
I'm not gonna like lie about it.
I'm picking good.
You are. You know what? Honestly, Tim, I looked at the rest of the season.
There's a couple you're really gonna like.
Well, I think I'm gonna be lucky to get any score out of you after I looked at some of the ones I gave you. Yikes!
All
right.
That's what I'm banking on.
I'm gonna have to make my. Oh, wait a second.
By the way, I'll tell you a piece of trivia I didn't use.
Yeah, what?
The teacher in the class that kind of yells at Heather for falling asleep in class and stuff. Her name is Lynn Shea. She's been in a number of the movies for New Line Cinemas because her brother, Robert Shea, runs the studio. As an older woman, she's been in the Insidious movies, which there's been like 4 or 5 of them so far.
Oh, okay. Can I just mention that we did have a Hall of Famer on Rudy? We did.
Hold on, let me think.
He was in another movie that we had.
Well, Vince Vaughn.
No, this is a different one.
A different one.
Yeah.
Oh.
The guy who played Dan Vine, Charlie Ross, he was in Hoosiers and Major League. We watched both those movies.
And Rudy was directed by the same guy that did Hoosiers, right?
Oh.
I think he was.
I have no clue, but I get some sort of. I mean.
No, you don't.
You didn't pick. You didn't remember it. You didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Do I get a point for that?
No, and you kind of gave away a trivia question.
No, because that's not my trivia question.
Oh, okay.
Let's
hear him.
All right, here we go.
We're behind. We're behind on time. So
yeah, we're always behind time.
Get
all right,
going.
Hey, hold on.
Come on, let's go, bitch.
Okay, so during the 1974 Packers season, Dan Devine was the Packers coach. His dog was murdered. John Favreau
needs more murder.
John Favreau, who plays a linebacker in the movie Replacements, was beat out for the role that Aston got in Rudy. And not only was this Vince Vaughn's movie debut, it was also the first movie where John Favreau and Vince Vaughn appeared in the same movie together. So
how come you didn't know about Vince Vaughn when I had him in Horror Movie Connection, but you got him in the trivia question?
Because I got my trivia question, and that was part of the trivia question that I made.
Okay.
Because I didn't know where he was in the movie, but I knew he was in the movie, but I didn't know where he was.
I'm going to tell you, I think the one that's false,
Yeah.
the one I think is false is Jon Favreau being considered for Rudy, because Jon Favreau, you look at him, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I think that's the false one.
And you don't think it's the one about the dog getting murdered?
No, I think that happens in Green Bay quite a bit.
You got 5 points.
Woohoo!
What I meant to put down when I did the Favreau thing, I honestly thought the same thing. I'm like, he's a big dude, and he looks like he'd play. Who I meant to put in there?
He really does.
What I wanted to put in there, what I thought about after I did this and I was committed to it, I was going to put in the guy who plays in Pitch Perfect. That dude, that bumper guy, the guy who plays the main male character in Pitch Perfect. Bumper, he's the guy who's with Fat Amy.
Well, you're talking about Sean Devine.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, he would have been about 7 or
he would
6
have got all right.
at the time of this.
So Tim would have got it regardless.
And the guy that actually plays Bumper, the character of Bumper, isn't that the German character? Or
No, it's Bumper.
Okay.
Damn.
But yeah, that
I did not have a
that
good.
would not have worked.
I did not have a good path to a successful
That's okay.
trivia this week.
Yeah, you know which question I didn't use that I probably should have?
What?
Let me see if I can find it here real quick. The one I wanted to use was John Saxon started his career at Universal Studios as a contract player and was in one of the late in the series of Universal Monster films. Because everybody was in those Universal Monsters.
So that would have been a true? Okay.
That's actually a false.
Oh.
He was not.
Where are...
What's
got
happening
score-wise?
next week?
No, score-wise.
Wait.
We got to tell people
Does
where we
that
are at the
happen
score.
first? Yeah, we do scores usually.
We
first.
do. He did do.
Okay, we'll do that first then. We
Wow.
are tight. We are tight. Now I'm going to pull ahead because I have consistently good movies. Because in the horror genre, they make good movies. Sports, not so much.
Well, we'll
Just
see.
so
I just
people
got to
know.
keep getting trivia right to keep myself close.
That is what's going to save your ass here.
Yeah.
Because you're much better at trivia most of the time. All right.
Just got to talk the stuff through.
So, yeah, I don't talk it through. I
you know
go
what, though?
with my gut.
I thought that...
I got a big gut.
I honestly thought that when I said the dog was murdered, I thought for sure he'd be like, he just made that up.
No, I think
That's a true-
dogs in Green Bay, they should watch out for themselves. Next week, folks, I'm going to be reviewing Stroker Ace. I'm sure that's going to be a big, big, big hit.
Yeah, but you know who's in there? Ned Beatty.
Yeah.
He'll be a Hall of Famer next week.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, that's good stuff. But
The Hidden?
yeah. Anyway, you are going to be seeing a movie that I think you're going to be thanking me for years to come.
I don't even
The
know
Hidden.
what to think about this.
This is
I don't even know what to make of this.
to give you a feeling. This is, I kind of try to make sure I hit different subgenres of horror.
Yeah, I know.
This is your alien film.
Okay.
You have typically liked your alien films. You liked Thing, and you like, some of those. I think you're going to enjoy this one. This one is a horror film, but it's got a lot of sci-fi and a good amount of action.
No, then you
So,
might have me on it then.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I think this is an underseen gem, and I'm hoping that you enjoy it.
What year are we looking at this one?
Oh,
It's an 80s movie?
It is 80s,
Oh,
but it might be late 80s.
And I did like that about Nightmare on Elm Street. I love watching movies in the 80s. I love watching the 80s people and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's either like late 80s or early 90s.
Okay, I can hang with that.
I enjoy this movie. It's got Kyle MacLachlan in it, if you know from Dune or
No, I never saw it.
the David Lynch show. What was it?
Wild thing?
No.
Wild at Heart? Two Hearts Are
I'm
Wild?
completely forgetting.
Who's the chick in this? Is there gonna be a chick that I know?
No, it's not Desperate Housewives, you guys. The
chick.
chat room is mocking me.
Well, they
They're
should.
mocking me.
At some point,
No, they are
should.
not. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. I knew I would remember.
But tell me.
I didn't have to look it up. I just knew.
Who?
Twin Peaks. Kyle MacLachlan needs to star in it.
Who's your chick in this?
Actually, Claudia Christian from Babylon 5 has one of the larger. You'll like her. She plays a stripper.
Okay.
Yeah, but she isn't in it that long either. It's really kind of a two-hander with with the two leads. But anyway,
Two-hander.
a two-hander. It's a type of film where it's keyed off of two characters.
Oh, like Tango and Cash, or like
Yeah, it's
48 Hours.
It's a buddy film
Oh,
for
buddy
the most
film.
part. Yeah,
like
so-
the thing, They Live.
well, not like The Thing.
No, Thing.
Not
Thing
like
is
The
a good horror
Well,
movie.
and okay, and They Live. The two basically for 30 minutes just beat the shit out of each other in an alley. Hit the butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just beat on each other, wailing.
But that wasn't
Oh.
that good of a movie, by the way.
What? They Live?
Yeah.
No, you begged me for that
I know.
stupid thing, and that's the last time I'm listening to you about that, because then you punished me for your own choice.
Okay.
The score.
Oh, true.
Yeah, which is why you may be getting The Exorcist.
Oh, let's watch.
It's coming.
Let's watch
It's
Black
coming.
Sheep. That was
It's
terrible.
coming. I'm still shocked you didn't like that one. I like that one. All right, everybody. Oh, wait. Can we get Jeff's thoughts on the Rogers injury and the Chubb injury? Is Monday Night haunted?
No, Monday Night is not haunted.
I think
Rogers is too old, and Chubb had that same kind of injury back in college, so he'll come back. He'll be fine.
You think so?
No, no, neither one of them will be the same.
No.
But Monday Night,
Rogers was already at the end of his
he's
career.
But like Mr. Rogers has said, I will rise from the ashes. How much more dramatic can you get, Aaron?
Well, maybe you could have one of those. What is it? A dark cleanse?
Yeah,
Or
he can go-
What is he doing?
We should do one of those. We should do a dark room one. Should we do a dark room?
No.
No, that's okay though.
No, it was not okay.
As long as the
It
shade
was not
is shut.
okay because you started, the minute I turned off the lights, you started getting excited. And that's
Whatever.
not good.
Let's roll.
All
We're
right,
done.
so it's time to close the crypt and call the game. Thank all of you for watching, and remember to share and subscribe our show and feed. You can find the show at otherworldlyculture.com and follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other fine places you find podcasts. Remember, if it is sports, it's a home run. If it's horror, run home! We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time.
StrippersArePeople2.com. I don't know. You put that in my head. You put that in my head.
You spend a lot of time with them.
I do not.
You do.
I do not.
That's not what Deb told me.
Deb doesn't tell you anything. But you know what? I do.
We have a special secret chat where we
Great.
get information on you
Great.
that I parse out in small parcels here on the show.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
You parse out in small parcels.
In small parcels.
And partially.
Yeah,
And partially.
And honestly, when you say you love tango,